Everyone, let's learn about photosynthesis. So, the word photosynthesis is consists of two words. The first one is photo and the other one is synthesis. So, what does it mean? The word photosynthesis is derived from the Greek word phos and it is known as light, which means light synthesis. So, the photosynthesis occurs under the sunlight. So this means combining together the chemical reactions in the presence of sunlight. So it means that the green plants produce their own food. So let's find out the definition of photosynthesis. The process by which green plants and certain other organisms, there are various other organisms that can also do the photosynthesis, like the algae, which transform the light energy into chemical energy using three prime components. They are sunlight, carbon dioxide and water, and they release oxygen and sugar. That sugar is the glucose that these plants use for their survival. Now a question arises that why do we need food, be it plant or animal or any or human being, like we as well. We need food for our survival. We know that our body consists of various organs and the organ systems need energy for the survival, and these energy part comes from the food we intake. Plants can make their own food by the help of photosynthesis, and the human being or the animals, they have to depend on the plant or the animal as well. So like human beings cannot manufacture their own food. Like it is not possible for us to cook the food on our palm. Like if you do a chemical reaction by taking sunlight, carbon dioxide and water, then also we cannot prepare our own food. Whatever we are doing is we take the gas stove, we use the gas stove, we use a pan, we use other ingredients to cook our own food. And that is how we eat food. But on the contrary, for plants, it is easier for them to manufacture their own food. Right? Now, let's find out. So here's a diagram, a very beautiful diagram where you can find that there's a green plant which uses sunlight, carbon dioxide and water which is present in the soil, and few minerals are also needed, but that is a lesser component. These three are the prime components. They are the light energy, the CO2 and water. These three are the prime components which is necessary for photosynthesis. In return, what the plant gives is the sugar. That sugar is in the form of glucose. These plants use it for their own food, and when we eat the entire plant, like we eat spinach and all those things, that means we are eating that glucose, and they release oxygen, and oxygen is necessary for our survival because we breathe in oxygen, right? We breathe in oxygen and we give out carbon dioxide, and see the situation which is the plants are helping us. Like if percentage of oxygen increases in this atmosphere, then also will not survive. And the percentage of oxygen and carbon dioxide, if both increases vice versa, then also will not survive. So there has to be a balance. They take in the carbon dioxide and they give out oxygen, and what we do, we give out carbon dioxide and we take in oxygen, so that there's a balance between the plant and the animal and the human being. So this is how Earth is a habitable planet. As we all know that Earth is the only habitable planet. Why? Because there's balance. The ecosystem and the biodiversity here is vivid and it is balanced. Okay. So this is photosynthesis in simple one word answer. It is the light reaction. It is the food manufacturing process of the plants. The plants are especially the green parts of the plant, that is the leaf, is the kitchen of the plants. Now let's find out the components. So as I told you, what are the components of essential components for photosynthesis? Now let's read what they are. So one is carbon dioxide, one is water and one is sunlight. So where do these plants get carbon dioxide? So carbon dioxide is a gas present around us. When people and animal exhale, they are emitting carbon dioxide. We are emitting carbon dioxide, and so as our industry. So we have to be very sure what we are giving to this planet. If we are cutting a tree, we have to plant one. This is great news for plants who need it to survive. So carbon dioxide is the survival. Like the plants, they survive using carbon dioxide. Now next comes the water. So I hope that you must have seen plants all around you, and you must have watered the plants. If you will not water the plants, they will die, because they will be wilting. The plants will not get sufficient water. They will become dry and they will not survive. So here there's a line. When we water our plants, we are providing them with one of the key components for their creation of that photosynthesis synthetic process. Now sunlight. The rays of sunlight are what brings this equation to a full swing. Because if sunlight is not there, the photosynthesis will not occur. But there are other ways of doing this synthesis, but that is not a usual thing. As we are studying the photosynthesis part, so we need to know that photo means sunlight, and sunlight is necessary for the plants to prepare their own food. Now let's study further. So let's study the process of photosynthesis. First step is sunlight. Plants are like the little chefs. I told you plants are the kitchen, and they need sunlight to start cooking their food. They have special parts like the leaves. They act like tiny solar panel, and these leaves catch sunlight, and this is the first ingredient they need. So what happens is, if sunlight is not there, or if there's a gloomy day or there's a cloudy day, the rate of photosynthesis decreases. Photosynthesis absolutely happens under the sunlight. Next step is water. So plants get thirsty too. Although plants will not speak, but how will you know that they are thirsty? The leaves will start to droop. The color of the leaf will change from green. It will change to yellow in color, because when you give water to the plants, ultimately you are giving some kind of nutrient to the plants, because the plants, they suck the nutrients or suck the minerals with the help of the root when you water the plant, because water consists some kind of nutrients like the manganese, magnesium, all these things which are necessary for plants survival. So plants get thirsty too. They use their roots, which are like straw in the ground, to suck up the water. In the higher classes you will study about xylem and phloem and their work. So in xylem is used to suck the water, and phloem is for the minerals. This water travels up through the plant to reach the leaves. It is like the arteries and veins and capillaries, like we human being also have our entire body is filled with veins. So, and capillaries also. So they help us sending the oxygen to the entire body. Now next comes is the carbon dioxide. Plants breathe too. I told you plants also breathe. There's a respiratory process in plants. So they take in something called carbon dioxide. I told you there's a balance. We take in oxygen and we give out carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide is used by the plant. And they have tiny little pores or tiny little holes, and they are known as stomata. That stomata present in the leaf inside the chloroplast, they actually help in the oxygen exchange. Right? So here we read about carbon dioxide. Now what is photosynthesis? So here it is written cooking time. As I told you, the leaf green parts is the kitchen of the plant. And what they produce two things. One is the glucose and other one is the oxygen. Now let's find out that chemical reaction which occurs during the process of photosynthesis. So here it is. So what we need first is sunlight, and the other two are carbon dioxide and water. These three create glucose and oxygen. Is it correct? So they produce glucose and oxygen. Okay. Photosynthesis is also used by algae to convert solar energy into chemical energy. If somebody asks you what kind of energy conversion takes place in photosynthesis, it is the solar energy into chemical energy. Oxygen is liberated as a byproduct, and light is considered as a major factor to complete the process of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis occurs when plants use light energy to convert what I told you, carbon dioxide, water into glucose and oxygen. Leaves contain microscopic cellular organelles known as chloroplast. Now, where does this photosynthesis actually happens? What you see is the green part, but when you will do the reactions, you'll do the experiments, you will find out that the kitchen, which I told you, is the leaf. There is a secret chamber there, and that chamber is known as the chloroplast, and it has a pigment known as chlorophyll, which is basically doing all the chemical reactions. So each chloroplast contains a green color pigment known as chlorophyll. Light energy is absorbed by chlorophyll molecules, whereas carbon dioxide and oxygen enter through the tiny pores of stomata that is located on the surface of the leaves or the epidermis of the leaves. This stomata especially is the guard cells. They are like guards. So they open and they close, and this where the oxygen and the carbon dioxide exchange takes place in stomata. And the byproduct of photosynthesis is sugar such as glucose and fructose. Maximum fruits consist of fructose. And glucose is present in the form of carbohydrates. Those are present in all the grains, like the wheat, like the rice, like the millets, whichever grain which you eat consists of carbohydrates. Okay. Now the next is each chloroplast contains These sugars are then sent to the roots, stems, leaves, fruits, flowers and seeds. So in other words, these sugars are used by the plants as an energy source which helps them to grow. These sugar molecules then combine with each other to form more complex carbohydrates like cellulose and starch. The cellulose is considered as the structural material that is used in the plant cells. So, now let's find out what are the factors affecting photosynthesis. Light intensity. Increased light intensity results in the higher rate of photosynthesis. On the other hand, when it is cloudy, the intensity of sunlight which falls on the earth is less, so the rate of photosynthesis is also low. So that is, you will find these things during the winter seasons. In the northern part of the country, during the winters, as the sunlight is not incident, so the leaves, they wither, they fall, and the color of the leaves also changes because they are not getting proper sunlight. And for photosynthesis, sunlight is necessary. Concentration of CO2. Higher concentration of carbon dioxide helps in the rate of photosynthesis. Now the temperature. There has to be an optimum temperature which ranges from 25 to 35 degrees Celsius. So you will find that the plants, the variation of plants on the surface of the earth is different, and it varies according to the temperature. For instance, the areas which have higher temperature of around 45 to 50 degrees Celsius, the plants which can survive in those harsh weather can grow, like the cactus. Cactus has adapted itself for low concentration of water and high temperature. So it has modified its leaves into spines. Water. As water is an important factor in photosynthesis, its deficiency can lead to problems in intake of carbon dioxide. Pollution. Industrial pollutants and other particulates may settle on the leaf surface, and this can block the pores of stomata. As we know, stomata are the guard cells and they help in the exchange of gases. So when there is a layering of pollution, a layer of air pollution or some kind of smog or some kind of soot on the surface of the leaf, the plant won't be able to do the process of photosynthesis. So all these factors are necessary for photosynthesis. If one of the factors are not working, are not happening in a proper manner, the plant will not survive. Thank you so much.